morning, everybody. My name is Captain Demetri Konstantopoulos of the Sarasota Police Department, and I'm happy to be here with you this morning to read you a book. I know that we're about 2 weeks into everything that's going on in the country right now, and kids and parents are looking for things to do. So with that, I'm going to bring to you Ricky the Rock That Couldn't Roll, written by Jay Miletsky, illustrated by Aaron Wozniak. Over the lake and out past the bay was a green grassy hill where the rocks came to play. They would race to the top to take in the view, then roll their way down the way rocks love to do. There were Kip, Pip, and Chester, and Marvin the Boulder. Ignatius played too, though he was much older. And a group called the Pebbles never sat still, zigzagging their way up and over the hill. Kai was a meteorite, and not from this planet, and Maya was lava, but taken for granted. Stu was the smart one, Parker was the clown, and grumpy old Elbert rolled round with a frown. Gabby was sassy, Lisi had flair, Emma was giggly, and had black hair. But the one trait that seemed to be shared by them all was that every rock there was shaped like a ball. And because they were round, they could easily roll through the grass, past the lake, up over the knoll. Except for poor Ricky, who quietly sat. You see, Rick couldn't roll because one side was flat. What part of this supposed to be fun? His friends didn't get it. Come roll, they would chant. So Ricky tried but replied, I'm sorry, I can't. But the rocks were determined. They were sure they could solve Ricky's flat-sided problem and help him revolve. So Marvin the Boulder, with his impressive physique, carried Rick all the way to the hill's grassy peak. Then he pushed him downhill, yelling, Keep rolling, kid. But Rick didn't roll. He just kind of slid. Well, the rocks weren't done, not by a mile. Surely this next try would get Rick to smile. They stuck the rubber balls all over Rick, using big gobs of glue to get them to stick. They were proud of themselves. This will work, they announced. But Ricky still couldn't roll. Now he just sort of bounced. Well, they pushed and they pulled, trying every which way to get Rick to roll. But by the end of the day, nothing had worked just like Rick expected, and he ended up feeling depressed and dejected. It's no use, Ricky sighed, there just isn't a way, so I'll sit off to the side and watch you all play. Poor Ricky. But his friends wouldn't quit. We're here for you, brother, and we'll get you to roll one way or another. So they pondered and thought, each straining his brain, till they looked up and saw it was starting to rain. And that's when it hit the smart stone named Stu. Eureka, he shouted, I know just what to do. He explained to them how they would get Rick to tumble. My plan is pure genius. Stu wasn't so humble. So they carried our hero down the road about a mile to the lake where they gathered up mud they could pile. On the flat side of Rick created a mound that they shaped, smoothed, and sculpted until it was round. Then after the rain, with the sun in the sky, they left him to bake till the mud was all dry. They gathered up the vines and one colorful feather that they wrapped all around Rick to keep it together. When the last knot was tied and the work was all done, the only step left was for Rick to have fun. They stood back and watched, feeling nervous and tense, as Rick breathed in deep with increasing suspense. He moved slowly at first, testing out his new mold, and then, for the first time, Ricky the Rock rolled. So Bria, the ladybug, who'd been there from the start, felt a surge of pure joy swell up in her heart. She thought, as she watched her friends play on the hill, that there was always a way if there's also a will. And she said to herself, as Ricky rolled down the slope, when you're surrounded by love, you always have hope. The end. What a great story. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I want to say hi to my son Mike, who's at home with mommy.